the room where you're expedited is really pretty interesting. Now, looking at this this is like the main operation center, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So this is our sliding door. This is where ambulances come in. Usually they call ahead, but they bring the patients through here.
Okay.
We assign them a bed depending on
The severity?
what's going on, the severity,
Okay.
yep. The nurse staffing. So you
Look
walk
at all
through.
so you really have a good view of everything that is happening.
We do. This tells us our time frame for going to CT or radiology, for triage, for decision to admits, to admission, to when they go to the floor, or to when they're being discharged. So we have numbers we have to go by. We try to meet the standards.
Oh, that's
the concept.
great.
Yep.
How many rooms do you actually have here?
23 rooms, and then of course 24 was the room that had the multiple chairs in it.
Okay.
So 23 plus that room.
Is there a time that's most busy? Are summers more busy than winter? Winter more busy than summers?
I would say it's just a different kind of busy.
Okay.
Summers are your stingrays, jellyfish, not quite as chronic
Heat.
illness.
I would think heat now.
Oh yeah, heat exposure. I mean,
Accidents, all that good
yeah,
stuff.
but a lot of bicycle
Skateboards,
accidents.
bikes. I hadn't thought about that.
And you know, I didn't realize that either until I started working in the ER, how many bicycle accidents there are on Hilton Head. So.
When the patient comes back, typically does the person with them come back initially with them while they're being assessed, or do they wait and kind of we get everything rolling? And
We
then...
usually will allow one person to come back at least initially. Like I said, it just depends on what's going on. If the patient's stable, do we need to stabilize them? The more people in the room makes it a little bit more difficult, but we don't tell them no, you know.
Correct.
We might say, do you mind just waiting here for a few minutes? We'll come and get you as soon as we have everything together. You know.
So, Tiffany, what can I expect if I have a broken leg or a broken arm, or we're questioning if I had a stroke? Do I then go to x-ray? What about lab? What about some of the other things that I can expect?
So for strokes, we overhead call a stroke alert, which means CT. If anybody's in the CT machine, we clear them out. We try to get them there within a certain time frame.
Okay.
To find out what's going on, whether they're bleeding or whether it's ischemic, you know. And that depends on whether they stay here sometimes or if we have to transfer them out.
You know, it's really funny, and I want to walk down here because I know you've got some other cool rooms, but it's interesting when I talk to people about their experience in the emergency department, and they're like, I got my labs drawn right away. Everything seemed to happen so quickly. And then...
And you hurry and wait?
Yes,
Yeah.
And then we just waited.
Yeah.
And it was funny because when I talked to the doctor about it, he goes, time out. You really weren't waiting. We were behind the scenes doing all kinds of things.
Right.
Processing labs.
Yep. So we usually get labs, urine, EKGs, hook you up to the monitor. If you need fluids, we have to wait on those to infuse, you know. The nurses, of course, we have a 5-to-1 patient ratio. So,
Okay.
So the nurse has potentially 4 other patients that they're taking care of next to you, and depending on what you're here for, you know, everybody could be different.
So what I hear you say is it may feel like I'm waiting, but in reality, a lot of things are happening to determine what's going on and what the treatment options
Right,
are.
yes.
And that makes perfect sense.
So all this room is not private, but the majority, like I said, our rooms are private.
Okay.
So the numbers go from 1 to 9, 10 to 14. These are kind of scattered.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, Senior Matters. You know, it's funny. I was talking to, actually, Lori and I were talking, my mom and dad, and I think her mom too, all had the opportunity to come back here where it was a little more private.
Yeah, so this was set up for our senior patients. Every room has a lift in it, so if they're not able to pull themselves up in the bed, we were able to hook the pulley up to the...
Yeah, let's see if we can see in here. This is
Hook
great.
the pulley up, put something underneath the patient. It just helps the system moving the patient. So.
Ooh, this is kind of fun to be actually in a room.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I see these charts
Yep.
in each of the rooms. Talk to me about those.
So these are just helpful. It lets them know, of course this one's not up to date because we don't have a nurse back here yet. So it tells us the nurse, the doctors that are on for the day, the date, what you may be waiting for. Are you able to eat or drink? Do we need a urine? Are you a fall risk? It gives us a a
Pain
pain score
rating.
method
Yeah, I love
to
that.
help, numeric or facial. It depends on if you can talk or not.
It's so funny because I think to the viewers, you do this every day and you talk with such confidence and poise and professionalism. The doctors have all said hi. Everyone who's come by to see us has been very gracious.
Good.
I think for you who haven't been to the emergency department, if nothing else, this gives you insight into the quality and the caring that you guys provide. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Thanks
You've
for having
been
us.
wonderful. You
Thank
offered us
you.
a lot of, I think, support and demystified, I think, what can be kind of a scary experience. Thank you. Thank you to all our viewers here on Healthy Living. Have a safe and wonderful week. Bye-bye.